I was 25 years old the day the lawyer found me wiping tables at a dusty roadside diner in the middle of nowhere. My hands were cracked from bleach, my apron stained with coffee, and my heart. Well, my heart had stopped believing in miracles a long time ago. They told me I was an orphan the moment I could understand words. Your parents died in a car crash, the social worker said, pushing papers across the table. I was 4. I still remember clutching a ragged teddy bear while they explained that nobody was coming for me. From that day on, I bounced between foster homes some kind, most not. I learned early how to disappear in a room full of people, how to smile when I wanted to scream, how to pretend I didn't care that I had no last name that really belonged to me. By 18, the system spat me out. No family, no savings. Just a duffel bag and a bus ticket to anywhere but there. I ended up in that diner, serving truckers and dreamers, counting tips just to keep the lights on in my tiny studio apartment. Every night I'd stare at the cracked ceiling and wonder, was there ever anyone out there who loved me enough to keep me? Then one Tuesday afternoon, everything shattered. The bell above the door jingled, and a man in a crisp suit walked straight to my counter. He didn't order coffee. He didn't sit. He just looked at me, really looked, and said, "Miss Reynolds." I laughed. Nobody's called me that in years. It was the name the orphanage gave me. A placeholder. He slid a thick envelope across the counter. Gold seal, official stamp. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside was a single photograph, an older man in a decorated military uniform. Silver hair, sharp blue eyes staring back at me like he already knew my soul. "This is General Harold J. Whitaker," the lawyer said quietly. "He's dying. And before he goes, he wants to see his daughter." The room spun. My knees buckled. I gripped the counter so hard my knuckles went white. Daughter. I had no father. I had no one. But the lawyer kept talking, voice gentle but firm. "He's been looking for you for 25 years. He never stopped, and now he doesn't have much time left." I stared at the photo again. Those eyes. Something in them felt familiar. Like a memory I'd buried so deep I forgot it was mine. That was the moment my entire life cracked open. But what I didn't know yet was that the truth would hurt so much more than the lie ever did. The next week, I sat in the back of a black car speeding toward a private hospital in Virginia. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The lawyer, Mr. Caldwell, sat beside me, explaining everything in careful pieces. General Whitaker wasn't just any soldier. He was a 3-star general, decorated, powerful A. Man who commanded armies and shook hands with presidents. And 26 years ago, he'd fallen in love with a young woman named Elena Reynolds, my mother. They were going to get married. She was pregnant with me. But then she disappeared. No note, no trace. The general searched for months, years. He never gave up hope that she was alive somewhere, raising me. He never knew she died giving birth to me in a county hospital 3 states away. He never knew the system swallowed me whole. I wanted to believe it. God, I wanted to believe this man had loved me from afar. But something gnawed at me. If he was so powerful, how did he lose us? How did 25 years pass without him finding me? When the car stopped at the hospital, nurses rushed to greet us. They treated me like royalty. "Miss Whitaker," they kept saying. It sounded foreign, wrong. And then I saw him. He was thinner than in the photo, hooked to machines that beeped softly in the dim room. But those eyes, those same blue eyes, locked onto me the second I walked in. "Isabella," he whispered, voice cracking. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "My girl." I froze in the doorway. My whole life, I dreamed of someone saying my name like that. Like I mattered. Like I was wanted. He reached for my hand. His fingers were cold, trembling. "I looked for you every day," he rasped. I never stopped. I swear on my life. I let him hold my hand. I let him cry. I let him tell me stories how he kept my baby picture in his wallet through 3 wars. How he named a scholarship after my mother. How he built a trust fund in my name that I never knew existed. For 3 days, I sat by his bed. I listened. I cried. I started to believe maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as alone as I thought. But on the 4th day, everything changed. A woman stormed into the room, perfect blonde hair, designer suit, fury in her eyes. "What is she doing here?" she hissed. The general's face went pale. Victoria, his wife, the woman he married 2 years after my mother vanished. The woman who raised his real children to sons now in their 20s. Both officers following in Daddy's footsteps. Victoria looked at me like I was dirt on her shoe. "You think you can just show up and take what's ours?" She spat. "He's dying, and you're here to steal his money." I felt the air leave my lungs. Money? That's what she thought this was. The general tried to speak, but she cut him off. "You were a mistake," she told me. "A secret he buried. And now you're crawling out of the woodwork like a..." "Enough!" The general roared, voice breaking into a cough. Machines beeped faster. Nurses rushed in. That night, alone in the hospital guest room. I found the truth. Hidden in the general's medical file was a letter written by him, dated 25 years ago. Addressed to the orphanage. "I have been informed of a child matching my daughter's description. Please confirm immediately." Below it, a response from the director. "No such child exists in our system." They lied. Someone took his letters. Someone blocked his searches. Someone made sure I stayed lost. And when I confronted Victoria in the hallway the next morning, her smirk told me everything. "You were never supposed to find out," she whispered. He was embarrassed. A pregnant girlfriend, a bastard child. It would have ruined his career. She didn't even flinch when I asked if she knew. She just laughed. "Of course I knew. I made sure you stayed gone. My father didn't abandon me." She erased me. The general died 3 days later. I held his hand as he took his last breath. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered. "My brave girl." Those words broke me and healed me all at once. Victoria thought she'd won. At the funeral, she stood in the front row in black lace, playing the grieving widow. His sons glared at me like I was an intruder. The will reading was scheduled for the next morning. Everyone expected me to get nothing. But my father wasn't the man they thought he was. When Mr. Caldwell opened the envelope, the room went silent. "To my daughter, Isabella Elena Whitaker. I leave my entire personal estate, $47 million, the Virginia home, and all non-military assets. To my wife Victoria and my sons, I leave the military honors they value so much. And nothing more." Victoria screamed, literally screamed, "This is fraud." She manipulated him. But the general had recorded everything, videos from his hospital bed, dated and time-stamped, telling the world how Victoria hid his letters. Paid off officials kept me from him for decades. He'd known the truth 4 months. He just waited until I was strong enough to hear it. The evidence went public. Military investigators opened a case. Victoria's perfect reputation shattered overnight. Her country club friends stopped calling. Her sons lost their commands. The woman who erased me lost everything she cared about. And me? I didn't touch the money at first. I just sat in the Virginia house, my mother's favorite flowers still blooming in the garden he never stopped tending, and cried for the childhood I never had. But then I started the Elena Reynolds Foundation. Every dollar helps kids like me lost in the system, forgotten by the world, scholarships, foster reform, search programs for parents who never stopped looking. Victoria tried to fight the will. She lost, she tried to disappear. The press wouldn't let her. Last I heard, she was living in a one-bedroom apartment, selling designer bags online to pay legal fees. Some people call it revenge. I call it justice. The little girl who once believed she was invisible. She's not invisible anymore. I visit his grave. The evidence went public. Military investigators opened a case. Victoria's perfect reputation shattered overnight. Her country club friends stopped calling. Her sons lost their commands. The woman who erased me lost everything she cared about. And me? I didn't touch the money at first. I just sat in the Virginia house, my mother's favorite flowers still blooming in the garden. He never stopped tending, and cried for the childhood I never had. But then I started the Elena Reynolds Foundation. Every dollar helps kids like me lost in the system. Forgotten by the world, scholarships, foster reform, search programs for parents who never stopped looking. Victoria tried to fight the will. She lost, she tried to disappear. The press wouldn't let her. Last I heard, she was living in a one-bedroom apartment, selling designer bags online to pay legal fees. Some people call it revenge. I call it justice. The little girl who once believed she was invisible. She's not invisible anymore. I visit his grave every year on my birthday. I bring Lila, my mother's favorite, and I tell him about the kids we've helped, about the letters from fathers who found their daughters because of what he built. I forgave him a long time ago. Forgiveness freed me. But Victoria, she'd never be free of what she did. Some prisons have no walls. To every girl out there who feels forgotten, you are not invisible. Someone out there is looking for you even if it takes 25 years. Hold on, your story isn't over. And to the ones who try to bury the truth, it always finds its way back to the light. I was an orphan until the dying general called me his daughter. And in his last breath, he gave me more than money. He gave me my name, my strength, and my voice. It was 2:17 in the morning when the doorbell rang. Not a polite little chime, but a frantic, desperate push that made the whole frame rattle. I was already awake, curled on the couch with the TV flickering some old movie I wasn't watching. My heart jumped into my throat the second I heard it. Who rings a doorbell like that at 2 in the morning unless something is horribly wrong? I ran to the door, barefoot, still in the oversized hoodie I'd thrown on after putting my own kids to bed. Through the peephole, I saw a shape slumped against the wall, my sister, Maya. Her hair was matted to her face, one shoe missing, and in her arms she clutched her little girl, Lily, my niece, only 6 years old. Born with cerebral palsy, the sweetest soul you'd ever meet. Lily's head was lolling against Maya's shoulder, eyes half open, tiny legs dangling limp. I flung the door open. Maya, oh my God, what happened? She didn't answer at first. She just stumbled forward and collapsed right there on my welcome mat, still cradling Lily like she was shielding her from the whole world. Her lip was split, one eye already swelling shut, and there were dark fingerprints bruised into her upper arms. I dropped to my knees. Maya, talk to me. Who did this? She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. Lily whimpered, confused and scared. I scooped Lily into my arms. First she weighs almost nothing and carried her inside, laying her gently on the couch. Then I went back for Maya. She tried to stand, but her legs gave out. I half carried her in, locked the door behind us, and grabbed every light blanket I owned. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. This was my big sister, the one who used to braid my hair, who taught me how to ride a bike, who promised me when Dad left that she would never let anyone hurt me. And now here she was, broken on my living room floor. While I pressed a cold pack to her face and checked Lily for injuries, my phone buzzed on the coffee table. I ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Finally, I snatched it up, ready to silence it, but the preview on the lock screen stopped me cold. Mom, don't save that cripple and her useless mother. Mom, they deserve what they got. Mom, If you let them in, you're dead to me too. I stared at those words until they blurred. My own mother. The woman who sang lullabies to us, who packed our lunches with little smiley face notes, who cried at every school play. How could those words come from her? I looked at Maya, tears cutting clean tracks through the dirt on her cheeks. She saw my face and whispered, "It was her, Sarah, Mom did this." I thought I knew what family meant. I thought blood was the one thing you could count on when everything else fell apart. Turns out I was wrong. Maya's story came out in pieces. Between sobs and long silences where she just stared at the wall like she was watching her life burn all over again. It started 6 months ago. Maya's husband, Ryan, walked out the day Lily turned 6. No warning, no fight, just a text that said he couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do the wheelchair, the therapy appointments, the nights Lily cried from pain in her legs. He left them the house but drained the bank accounts. Maya had to quit her job to care for Lily full-time, and the medical bills piled up faster than she could breathe. That's when Mom swooped in. At first, it seemed like a miracle. Mom offered to move in temporarily to help. She cooked, she cleaned, she cooed over Lily like the perfect grandma. Maya was so relieved she didn't notice the little things at first, the way Mom's eyes lingered on the unpaid bills. The way she started asking exactly how much Lily's treatments cost. The way she sighed every time the home care nurse arrived. Then the comments started. Quiet at first. Such a burden on you. Poor thing. Maybe if she'd been born normal. Maya brushed them off. She was exhausted. She told herself Mom was old-fashioned, that she didn't mean it. But Mom did mean it. Every word. 3 weeks ago, Mom sat Maya down and laid out a plan. She had found a facility in another state. A place that would take Lily full-time. It's state-funded, she said. You'd be free. You could start over. Date again, live. Maya laughed at first, actually laughed thinking it was a sick joke. When Mom didn't laugh back, Maya told her to leave. That night, Mom left. Or so Maya thought. Tonight, Maya woke up to the sound of the front door creaking. She thought Ryan had come back. Instead, it was Mom, drunk on cheap wine and rage, screaming that Maya was selfish, that Lily was ruining the family, that she should have ended it when the doctors first said cerebral palsy. She grabbed Maya by the hair, dragged her down the hallway. Lily woke up crying. Mom shoved Maya so hard she hit the wall, then turned to Lily's crib like she was going to. Maya wouldn't say it out loud. She just whispered, "I've never seen that look in anyone's eyes before." Maya fought back. She scratched, she screamed. She got Lily into her arms and ran. Barefoot. To miles in the freezing dark to my house. The only place she had left. I listened to every word, and something inside me cracked wide open. Not just for Maya and Lily, but for me. Because I realized I'd been blind too. Mom had always treated Lily differently, shorter hugs, forced smiles, presents that were never quite right. I told myself it was because Lily was difficult. I let myself believe the excuses. But this was evil wearing my mother's face. I tucked Maya and Lily into my guest room, kissed Lily's forehead, and promised them they were safe. Then I sat on the kitchen floor and cried until my ribs hurt. Not soft tears, ugly, angry sobs that scraped my throat raw. Because the worst part wasn't even the bruises on my sister. It was knowing our own mother looked at that innocent little girl and saw garbage. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, calculated. The kind that leaves the other person gasping when they finally realize what they've lost. The next morning, I called the police. Maya didn't want to at first. She was terrified of tearing the family apart. I looked her in the eye and said, "She already tore it apart. We're just picking up the pieces." They took photos of the bruises, took our statements, and opened a case for assault and child endangerment. Mom was arrested by noon. But that wasn't enough. Not for me. I spent the next 2 weeks building a wall of proof nobody could ignore. I got Maya into therapy. I contacted every relative, every old family friend. And I told them exactly what happened, no sugarcoating. No, she's just stressed. I posted the police report with Maya's permission in the private family group chat that Mom loved so much. Then I created a GoFundMe for Lily's medical bills and future care. I titled it, "Help Lily Thrive After Her Grandmother Tried to Throw Her Away." Within hours, donations poured in. Strangers, old classmates, even people who'd only met Lily once at a birthday party. The story spread across local news. Grandmother assaults disabled granddaughter, tells daughter to abandon her. Mom's name, her face, her smug Christmas cards smile everywhere. She tried to play victim. Called me crying, begging me to make it stop. Said I was destroying her reputation. I let her talk until she ran out of breath. Then I said the sentence that finally shut her up. You destroyed yourself the moment you laid hands on that baby. The court date came fast. Mom took a plea deal, probation, anger management, and a permanent restraining order keeping her 500 feet away from Maya and Lily. She has to pay restitution for Maya's medical bills and the therapy both of them will need 4 years. Every month, money leaves her account and lands in theirs. A quiet, steady reminder. But the real revenge. Watching Maya bloom. Watching Lily laugh again. We moved them into my house permanently. I turned the garage into an accessible playroom with ramps and soft floors and fairy lights. Lily picks out herself. Maya started an online support group for parents of disabled kids who've faced family rejection. It has 40,000 members now. Every time a new parent posts, "I thought I was alone," Maya answers, "You're not. We're right here." Mom tried to reach out, once sent a birthday card to Lily with $20 inside. Maya used it to buy ice cream, then threw the card away. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. People keep asking me if I miss my mother. The truth, I miss the idea of her. The mom I thought I had. I miss the idea of her. The mom I thought I had. But that woman never really existed. She was a mask. And masks crack eventually. So here's what I learned, what I want you to carry with you. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who choose to stay when things get hard. It's the sister who runs barefoot through the dark to protect her daughter. It's the aunt who opens the door at 2 a.m. and says, "You're safe now." It's the little girl who smiles through pain and reminds us what love is supposed to look like. Lily calls me Mama Sarah now. Every night she asks me to read her the princess book with the dragon who learns to be kind. And every night I do. Because some stories need new endings. And ours. It's just getting started. If you're watching this and someone in your family has ever made you feel small, worthless, or like a burden, please hear me. You are not the problem. You are the light they're too afraid to stand in. Walk away if you have to. Build your own family. Choose love that chooses you back. Because no child, no person should ever have to collapse on a doorstep to find out who really loves them. And no mother should ever have to fight the person who was supposed to protect her. We're okay now. More than okay. We're healing. We're laughing again. And every time Lily's laugh fills this house, I know we won. Not because we destroyed anyone, but because we chose love over hate. And love, real love, always wins in the end. Thank you for listening to our story. If it helped even one person feel less alone, then every tear was worth it. See you in the next one. I still remember the way the morning light spilled across our kitchen table, turning the coffee in his mug golden. That was 3 years ago, when I was still Lieutenant Commander Sarah Hayes, and he was Captain Marcus Reed, my fiancé, my best friend, the man who swore he'd never let the Navy come between us. People said we were the perfect military couple. I was the brilliant strategist who could read a battlefield like poetry. He was the charming leader everyone followed into fire. Together, we were unstoppable. We'd planned everything, a small ceremony on the base, just family and a few close friends. I'd found the perfect dress, simple ivory, nothing that would outshine the vows we were about to make. Marcus kept saying, "Sarah, after this, it's you and me against the world." I believed him. I believed him so completely that I didn't notice how quiet he'd become whenever promotion lists came out. I didn't see the late-night calls he silenced when I walked into the room. I was too busy loving him, too busy dreaming of the life we'd build once we both pinned on our new ranks. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday. Thick cream cardstock, gold lettering, my name nowhere on it. Captain Marcus Reed and Dr. Elena Voss request the honor of your presence. Dr. Elena Voss, the civilian historian who'd been consulting on his latest project. The woman whose laugh I'd heard echoing from his office more times than I could count. My hands shook so hard the card slipped to the floor. That night, I stood outside his quarters, invitation crumpled in my fist, asking the only question that mattered. Why wasn't I invited to my own wedding? He looked at me like I was a stranger. "Sarah, you're being dramatic," Elena's family insisted on a formal event. "Your name would have complicated things. Complicated things. 12 years of shared deployments, whispered promises under desert stars, and I complicated things." But what I didn't know that day was that he'd already done something far worse than leave me off an invitation. He'd erased me completely. I don't remember dropping the phone. I only remember the scream that tore out of me raw, animal, loud enough that my vice principal rushed in thinking someone had died. Someone had. The Aisha who trusted love had just died on the floor of my office. By Maghreb, the video was everywhere. WhatsApp groups exploded. Breaking, Bahawalpur principal's fiancé marries cousin in secret nikah. Sana posted the first picture at 4:05 p.m. Exactly 30 minutes after the call connected. Caption, "Alhamdulillah for unexpected blessings." Unexpected. 10 years of late-night calls, saving for a house, choosing his mother's favorite color for the sofa unexpected. Hamza finally texted at 11:47 p.m. One line, "It was arranged suddenly. Please understand. Understand." I stared at those words until they blurred. Then I opened my laptop and started typing. Not a rant, not tears, an email. To every school parent, every education officer, every journalist I'd ever met. Subject, fraud in broad daylight, evidence attached. See, Hamza's family had bragged for months about the big government contract. That paid for that Sherwani, that arch, that lavish dinner. But I had the original tender documents because I'd helped him proofread them at 2 a.m. weeks ago. His company had forged signatures, inflated costs, bribed an officer. I attached everything. Time-stamped. Signed. Undeniable. The next morning, anti-corruption officers knocked on his new in-laws. Door while the bride was still posing for day-after photos. By noon, his father's construction license was suspended. By evening, the groom himself was in custody. I didn't smile. I just felt hollow, like someone had scooped out 10 years and left only echoes. Friends kept saying, "Aisha, you destroyed them." But destruction would have been easy. I didn't want noise. I wanted silence, the kind that follows when lies no longer have anywhere to hide. And in that silence, something fierce woke up inside me. If 30 minutes could ruin me, maybe 30 minutes could rebuild me too. 3 weeks later, the courtroom was packed. Hamza stood in the dock. Sherwani replaced by a prisoner's jumpsuit 2 sizes too big. The judge asked if he had anything to say. He looked straight at me first time since the video call and whispered, "I'm sorry, Aisha." I stood up to give my statement. My voice didn't shake. "I'm not here for an apology," I said. "I'm here for the truth. 30 minutes was all you gave our 10 years. So I gave you 30 minutes of mine." I slid a USB across the table. On it, the full Nika video, recovered from the photographer's cloud backup, time-stamped. With audio of Hamza laughing minutes before the ceremony. Aisha will cry for a week, then move on. This contract is worth crores. The courtroom went dead quiet. His mother started wailing. Sana stared at the floor. Case closed in 28 minutes. Fraud, bribery, bigamy charges years behind bars. That evening, I walked to the same chai stall where Hamza used to wait for me after school. I ordered 1 cup, drank it slowly. The jasmine tree outside was still in bloom. I picked a flower, tucked it behind my ear, and smiled at my reflection in the window. Not because I'd won, but because I was still here. Still me, still whole. To every woman watching who's been replaced in 30 minutes, 30 days, 30 years, listen closely. They can steal your time. They can steal your name from the Nika Kwan's tongue. But they can never steal the woman you become. When you stop begging for the love they were never going to give. I lost a fiance. I gained myself. And that trade. Worth every second of those 30 minutes. Because the real revenge isn't watching them fall. It's rising so beautifully that their lies can't reach you anymore. I'm Aisha Khan. And my story didn't end when he said Cubel to someone else. It started. End screen. Soft instrumental fades. White text on black. Never let 30 minutes define 30 years of your strength.